Well, hello, John Meyer here. I just got finished watching a Peter McKinnon video. If you don't know who Peter is, he's a filmmaker, photographer, just real inspiring for a guy that's trying to learn how to make better videos, so I watch everything he does. Well, he made this video where he demonstrated how he talks to himself. He has this character that he uses for advertisements called Squarespace Beat, and I thought, after watching this video, I needed to implement this technique, and I figured it was as good a time as any to introduce you to Big Idea Jon. Hey. Well, hello there. It is good to be here. I'm glad that he finally let me meet all of you. Yeah. Well, I've been a little busy. Nice jacket, by the way. I like this jacket. I look good in this jacket, don't I? Can you button it up? Well, the pandemic has been difficult on all of us. I also see that you cut our hair. Yeah. Watched a YouTube video. 8 on top, 2 to 5 on the sides. I feel okay about it. It's a little short. By the way, what's up with the same black shirt in every video? Well, I watched that Steve Jobs documentary where he talks about how decision makers don't want to make decisions all the time, so they wear the same thing every day, so they don't have to worry about that. And then I saw a J. Crew ad, and I bought 7 of these. And no, they're not all black. One of them is navy. Yeah. Okay. So what big idea do you have for me today? Oh, I have a few things. Of course you do. Here, I made a list. Of course you did. Let me get this list out here. All right, let's see. Okay, all right. All right, just the normal things first, real quick. I need to write 4 cues for the library. Easy, a couple hours, right? Mix and master those cues. Artwork for the albums due this quarter. By the way, all the guitars need new strings. Can you get on that? There's like 10 guitars. Okay. Well, some only have 4. Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay. All right, hear me out. I think it's time for a new artist film and music project. Like an album? We just did that. It's called Paper Trail. Well, let's be honest. That was a year ago, and you really didn't know what you were doing at the time. Wait a second. We dedicate our entire life to being a musician. And my father shows up with a drone on our family vacation, and you decide that we were going to be filmmakers. I don't know anything about this, so I stay up all night, every night, researching cinematic epic drone shots and trying to figure out what shutter speeds are and frame rates are and ND filters. I knew none of this. And all things considered, I think it looks pretty good. Yeah, it's okay. It was okay. You were such a jerk. What was that? I'm gonna stop you, okay? You do this to me every time. I put hundreds and hundreds of hours into learning the thing that you got so excited about because you watched a YouTube video. And then we put that thing out in the world, and I'm ready to tell people about it, and you have already moved on to the next thing. And you've got me learning After Effects or Illustrator, I don't know, whatever it is. We don't have a marketing team. I am the marketing team, okay? And I don't have the time or the hours in the day to try to tell people about the stuff we've made and then make the next thing that you're telling me I have to do, and that's going to be our ticket. All right? So if we're going to do something else, before we do it, I'm not saying we're going to do it, by the way, but before we even think about doing it, we're going to tell people. We've got this channel now. People are kind of paying attention, and so we're going to tell them about Paper Trail. Can you cool with that? You going to make that deal with me? Okay. I've always wanted to make one of those director's commentaries, so this will be fun. All right, I can do that. I'll get the computer set up. Do you know how to operate the basics of a computer? Have you figured any of that out yet, or do you need my help for that as well? Okay, well, I'll get you set up, and I'm going to go cook dinner, and you turn off ScreenFlow when you're done. All right, well, this is going to be fun. All right, here we go. All right, now how do I... First, let's put the headphones on. I think I'm supposed to do that. I've got 2 cameras here. It's my good side. All right, so we start by going to johnmeyermusic.com. That's me. And we go to the music page, which needs some updating. You can listen to the album, all the good places, the okay places, and the bad places. And then we have the film. So let's start with part 1. So the first track is called Find Me Far Away. It was one of the first I wrote for the album. We arrived at the beach. And I needed to come up with a plot, an idea. So I thought of this letter that we could put out in the ocean in a bag and my brother-in-law and sister, who like to get up early in the morning, would find it. And so I wrote this song on the Kauai behind me, and it kind of builds to, not super dramatic, but there is some build to it. And so I thought the first part, they would walk up and down the beach, and they would find this letter. And this letter would tell them what they needed to do. Now, to be quite honest with you, I had no idea what they needed to do. But this bought me some time. I originally showed up with this T3i camera. This is what I learned on, and it was a great camera, but honestly didn't understand shutter speeds or frame rates or any of that. And so the footage I got was terrible. But after watching some videos overnight, I learned a few things about drone shots. You know, you can make the beach look pretty from above, do really slow movements. And then later on, I learned how to color grade. And for not knowing what I was doing at the time, I'm pretty proud of that shot. So right here, I was inches away from dumping the drone in the water, and that would have been a difficult conversation. So now they're leaving, right? And then we go back to Somerville, which is where my parents are from, and we continue the story. And so now, just kind of setting the scene with some of these drone shots here. Just kind of giving you the lay of the land. And there's this really cool river that I found. There's deer. That's the spillway from Lake Somerville. It's the Yewa River. And so now the idea is that my brother-in-law, and we don't know who these people are in the story, but he's driving along the dam of Lake Somerville, obviously going somewhere. And I'm following. You take a drone and you put it in slow motion, you can make most things look good. And so here's my idea. This is my nephew. It's actually his son. In the story, we don't know that at this point, or we don't ever really know that. But whatever is in this letter has to go to this kid. And so all of this was shot with the drone, but we did it, I guess, 3 or 4 times. And all I really knew to tell him to do was run. I don't know about his acting abilities. He may not have any at all, but I knew he could run. So for this moment, he just takes off. And for the remainder of the song, I follow him with the drone, running all over Somerville, Texas. I think you burned a few calories that weekend. That's the old football stadium in Somerville, a little 2A school, maybe 3. Been there for a long time. And then we kind of pan up and out, and that is the end of the story. So at this point, we're done with one, and I thought, well, that was kind of fun. And so for the next one, Sky and Flora, I actually decided I wanted to use a camera, like this T3i, and I bought a Sigma 18-35 lens, which is on this camera that's filming me now. And we did some more shots around Somerville. So the idea is he's still running, and got some shots of the city and what it looks like. It used to be a railroad town, but things have changed quite a bit in 50 or 60 years. And so, again, maybe I shouldn't mention all this, but we're just piecing the story together as we go. And he's running, and I knew that he would find another letter eventually. Now, I had hopes of this canoe, but I got down there and realized the canoe was like 20 feet long, and that just wasn't going to happen. And so we found this spot out in, I guess this is out near Brenham, Texas, where the creek goes underneath this little road, and I planted another letter. So we've realized that the first letter was leading him to this point. And so right here, I almost hit the fence, and I cut right before I hit it. It jumped up. brought a slider with me. You see that? Nice. And so there's my letter. This is one of my favorite tracks from the album. It's kind of has some movement to it. It's uplifting in a way. Lots of my flute violin sample, if you pay attention to that. So he finds the letter. Highlight's a little blown out in that shot, but it's okay. He's reading it. He was a good sport through all this. I know it wasn't the way that he wanted to spend his day, but he did great. So whatever he just read has him somewhat perplexed, and he's just taking a moment to think it all through. So now Nightlight is the next track, and it's a little darker. And so this was actually filmed in my backyard here in Carrollton. They were up from the College Station area for the weekend, and so I wanted to do a night scene. At this point, this is my new GH5, and I wanted to try it out, see what I could do in more low light scenarios. So this letter led him to what is our backyard, but you don't need to know that. And there's a bag and there's stuff in there, and he's learning some stuff in this book that's written in there, and we don't know what, but he's starting to kind of figure out what it is that he needs to do and what it is that he's a part of. So we lit a fire in the backyard, and it's very much suburbia where we live, so this fire got a little large at some points. My wife was not happy. I do like that shot right there. And so now the song is going to change and live, so now he's going to continue his journey. That's back in Somerville. Oh, look, somebody left him some clothes for the next part of his journey because it was cold. But we couldn't get away with the shorts and light shirt anymore. I like that shot. 30 frames per second, slowed down. I think 30. No, maybe that was 120 slowed down. I don't know. Another near drone incident with that tree that we just saw. So he's off. He's going somewhere. You can see me in the back there on the road. Really cool old church out near Brenham. All right, and then we have episode 4. And there was going to be 12, but didn't work out that way, so we just put them all in. And now this is the final episode, and this is my son. He didn't want to be in the first couple, but then he decided he wanted to, so we worked him into the story, and hopefully you'll see how all this comes together. He's kind of lost and alone, and this is all in downtown Somerville on a rainy night. I think I promised him something. I don't remember what it was. My wife doesn't like this part of the film because he looks so sad, but he did a great job looking sad. The drone is back. I actually wrote this I actually made the film first. I used a temp piece of music. I used an Olafur Arnalds track to temp it. And then when I laid out the film the way I wanted to, I rewrote the music. I tried to treat it as if I was scoring this film that somebody gave me. So we found this really cool looking creek. It's just like it goes into the lake. and I had him paddle out into the lake. Now, it was pretty far, and I wasn't in close contact with him. We had walkie-talkies, but he got far enough that we decided it would be best for him to turn around, but he did an awesome job. And I almost dumped the drone into that creek. But there we are in the lake, and he's got his letter, and he's got to do something with the letter. So now enters my other nephew, who is fishing without a line on his fishing pole. And he finds the letter, and now he's got something to do. I think this is my favorite scene coming up of the entire. I just love this piece of music and his acting and the cloudy weather. Look at the birds here at the bottom of the screen as I pull the focus. Oh, next shot. Right there. Ooh, I like that. So he's just wandering around. I think this coming up is my favorite shot of the whole series. Used an old vintage lens to get that really nice bokeh in the background. And there's my other son who just shows up, waiting for something. All right, now we've got a job to do here. My brother, this is in my brother-in-law's garage. He has everything known to man. It's the coolest looking garage ever. He's an engineer and builds airplanes and all that stuff. So had some great props to work with. So as you'll see in a minute, he's building a rocket, and he's trying to make it look like he was designing it all on the computer there, because he's gonna send this letter in this rocket to my son who is wandering and lost. I think you can see some improvement in my storytelling and filmmaking as I've gone along, and that's why I wanted to do this, just because it would force me to get better. And like I mentioned earlier in this video, thousands and thousands of hours, maybe not thousands, hundreds. And so that's just your run-of-the-mill Hobby Lobby rocket, but I painted it, make it look a little shiny. I like that shot. Now this kid, Hudson, he's the actor in the family. He'll go places. I put that camera right next to that rocket, which made me a little nervous, but you do what you gotta do to get the shot. We tried lots of ways to drop the rocket from the drone, and it didn't quite work out. Maybe next go around, but here he is. It lands right in front of him. His cousin or Hudson got it right where it needed to go. Look where it says run. That was the instruction. Read this and then run. So that letter gave him some bit of information that he needed to start his journey. This is actually at a nature preserve in Plano, Texas. I think it was before school. We got up early one day and I bribed him with donuts or something. Love that shot right there. That's the cover of the album. The great Milo Deering, who's very well known in these parts in Dallas, played all the strings for me. Cello, viola, violin. I'd written some parts, and he said, "Send it to me, John, and I'll play it." So I was very grateful for that. Still running. And now he's finding his way home. Notice his hair is quite a bit longer. There was some time in between those shots. And look where we are. Still kind of gets me. You know, every artist wants to make music, right? And I wanted to make an album, but I also kind of wanted to make a documentary of my family, because they don't even look like that anymore. It was only 2 years ago. And so that's part of this process. Is like, I knew that my family would be really annoyed with me while I was making it, but I also know that when we watch this in 5 or 10 years, that it will mean something. So I hope that you enjoyed it. Thanks for sticking around. Till next week, I'll see you.